Hey guys, Trilogy Leader here, and welcome to my top 10 favorite Thomas and Friends episodes. Season 1 through 4 at least. Look, I tried to include every other season, but it was just way too difficult. I want to make separate videos so that way I can explain my opinion on every episode I like. So I decided just to make one video to cover seasons 1 through 4, make another video covering season 5 through 7, which will come down later down the line. And I just want to make this clear that this is my opinion, and my opinion might be a little bit strange, but it doesn't matter, because I'm right, not you. So anyway, with all that being said, this is my top 10 favorite Thomas and Friends episodes, season 1 through 4. So starting with the secret number 11, we have Toad Stands By. This is one of my favorite episodes from season 4, and this episode is epic. There is just so much to like about this episode. First off, Toad gets a bit more attention. He never really got a lot of attention in the Railway series, so seeing that he has more of a starring role, that's kinda neat. Also, Oliver is awesome in this episode. He rips apart Scruffy like he's nothing, and it's just so cool. Just as soon as the trucks start being mean to him, Oliver knows how to show him a thing or two. This episode was always fun to watch for me, and a lot of people really like this episode, and I can see why. It's only number 11 on this list because I just think there's a lot more episodes I like, but this is still one of the best season 4 has to offer, and is perfect for number 11 on this list. Number 10. Thomas, Percy, and Nicole, or Double Trouble as I knew it. This is more of a nostalgic episode for me, which I guess, hey, this is my list. I can have those kind of episodes if I want. This episode was on one of the CDs I owned called A Cow on the Line, and this episode was just so funny to listen to. There's so many quotable lines, there's cool crashes, and considering it started the CD, it was definitely a nice episode to start it. It was also the episode to start Season 2. I think Season 2 looks really good for coming right after Season 1. It's probably my favorite season of the classic series. It has a lot of great episodes, including this one. It's one of the few episodes where Thomas and Percy don't really get along, but when they both get what's coming, it's pretty funny, and they manage to resolve it at the end. I do wish they adapted Drip Tank to make this more of a 2-part episode, but for what it is, it's definitely one of my favorites. Bit more of a nostalgia trip, but still, it deserves number 10 on this list. Number 9. Dirty Objects, or James in a Mess, as I knew it. Kind of an odd pick, but again, this is my list and not yours. This episode has one of the best crashes in the series. Just seeing James crash into the tar tank is so entertaining. The whole runaway is fun to watch. And even the little things about the episode, like Toby making fun of James at the end. James's annoyed attitude. It's just such a funny episode. It would have just been a kind of an okay episode, but this episode was the reason my channel got a lot of attention. My James in the Mess remake was the first one to break the 10,000 views limit, which is honestly quite an accomplishment. So for that, it will have a special place in my heart. It's funny, has a great crash, helped my channel grow. It definitely deserves number 9 on this list. Number 8. Percy Takes the Plunge. This is another odd episode, and I guess I have a lot of them on this list. But this one is funny mainly because of the crash. Just sinking into the water is just so funny. Ringo Starr does a great job again in this episode, but I also had George Carlin's narration on the Percy Takes the Plunge DVD. I did have the Ringo Starr version on the Cow on the Line CD as well as the Best of Percy DVD, and I honestly preferred that one. It's just a nice episode in general. Percy gets what's coming, it's a funny crash. It's just a pretty solid episode in general. It's one of my favorite Percy episodes. I also really liked this episode as a kid. It was just kind of the episode I watched a lot of Percy episodes for. It's just a really good episode in general. I might be coming off with a broken record, but it's fine. I like this episode. I think it deserves number 8 on this list. Number 7. Grandpuff. And only Grandpuff. I thought about including Sleeping Beauty, but I realized I just like Grandpa a lot more. There is so much to like about this episode. The way the characters work off each other. This is Duke's first episode. It's the first episode of Season 4, a fantastic season full of little engines. It was the episode to introduce that one character, Smudge, that never appeared again. And it was when Sir Handel and Peter Sam were called Stewart and Felton. I also just really have to appreciate how sad this episode is. It took some different directions. It went much darker, and I can really appreciate that from them. But in the end, it will have a happy ending. But I just can't appreciate Sleeping Beauty as much because it's just not interesting. There's a lot more exciting things that happen in this episode. Even the sad things are kind of exciting because you don't really see it coming. But whatever, I like Grandpa. It's probably my favorite episode from Season 4, which is why it's number 7 on this list. Number 6. Escape. Yeah, I know, this episode's on everybody's list, but I can't help it. Escape is really great. And do I even really need to explain why it's so great? You know why it's great. The atmosphere, the music, the story itself, Douglas helping Oliver, the fact that all their characters work off of each other and they work so well. People love this episode. And it was almost my favorite episode from Season 3. But there was another episode I liked a little bit more, which we'll get to in a little bit. But for right now, this is a fantastic episode that fans unitedly love, and really understandably why. It's just that good, and that's why it deserves number 6. Number 5. Cows, or A Cow on the Line as I knew it. Oh look, another episode from the Cow on the Line CD. Yeah, well they're all great episodes, so that just goes to show. Edward's made fun of for having cows break his train, but then Gordon and Henry end up being afraid of a cow in the middle of the line. It's just a funny episode. It started the trend of great Edward stories, and I'm really happy for that. Edward is one of the best characters in the series, and he has a lot of great episodes, and I'm glad there are, because he's a good character to work with. And just the fact that they run into a cow is funny. Ringo Starr does a great job. Gordon and Henry are funny in this episode. It's just a solid episode in general. I put this over Escape because I just think I'll watch A Cow on the Line a lot more. It's just funnier and just has a better feel to it. I have to say, I really like that episode. I kind of have a bit of nostalgia for it, but it doesn't matter because it's still great either way. That's why it's number 5 on my list. Number 4. Henry's Forest. I said many times in the past that I'm not the hugest fan of Season 3, but the reason I don't dislike it is because of this episode. And I guess also Escape too, but it doesn't matter. Henry's Forest is fantastic, and it's all thanks to the visuals and music. The music manages to put you in so many emotions. You feel happy when you're in the forest. You feel sad when it's all took down, when Henry's all sad, and Toby's sad, and everyone's sad. The storms are really great. The forest just looks so beautiful. The shots are fantastic. And even though the story is so simple, they're able to make it at such a grand scale. That's something you can really appreciate about this show. Not a lot of episodes can pull that off. Henry's Forest is so good that it doesn't even matter that it's not written by one of the Audreys. It's just that good. Basically everybody likes this episode. I don't really see a ton of people disliking it. It's an episode that people really like, and that's why it's number 4 on my list. Number 3. The Henry Trilogy. Oh, please don't make me choose one. They're all really good. While most people will point to The Flying Kipper, which is understandable because that's an objectively perfect episode, I think all episodes from the Henry Trilogy deserve a spotlight. First, Cole, or Henry Special Cole as I knew it. This episode is actually one of the more sadder episodes in the series. Henry doesn't seem to be very cared for, and when he has a chance to try to show himself, he actually doesn't do well. When you think that'd be the chance that everything will work out in the end, it doesn't. It's really sad. That Henry's theme is also really sad, but Sir Topham Hatt gives him a chance, gives him a special call, and he's back on the rails. It's a really nice episode, and I love it for that reason. But of course, we can't ignore The Flying Kipper. Like Henry's Forest, it creates such an atmosphere of art and music. The music is incredible. The set pieces, all covered in snow, are still beautiful. So many shots are incredible. The crash is great. It's again another simple story that works because of the visuals and music. It's fantastic. People love it. And as I said, it's an objectively perfect episode. But another episode that I really like is Whistles and Sneezes. This episode is funny. Yeah, I think I really like a lot of funny episodes. So Henry's made fun of by Gordon, but then he gets his whistle whistling all day. It's hilarious. Then when some boys drop stones on Henry sneezes at them. That again is very funny. It also has a very quotable line. It isn't wrong, but we just don't do it. My family said that over and over again. It basically became a little mini meme in our family. And I think it has a special place in my heart because of that. So as you can see, every episode in the Henry trilogy is really good. I know people, again, will mainly point to the Flying Kipper, but I think they're all good, and I hope this kind of makes you understand that. But we still have 2 episodes left to go, so what could possibly be better than the Henry trilogy at number 3? Number 2, Old Iron. There is so much to like about this episode. The runaway, the human interactions, the runaway, the music, the runaway, the visuals, the runaway again. I'm sorry, the runaway is just so good. It plays it so closely to the Railway series. The human interactions are actually pretty solid. Most people want to see more human interactions, and they actually do a pretty good job in this episode. Oh, and it's an Edward episode. Did I ever forget to mention that? It's an Edward and James episode. That's even better. This episode is fantastic. A lot of people love it. It's also the last one on the Cow on the Line CD. That makes it even better. Why is this episode so good? But in the end of the day, it's still not my favorite. Yeah, I love this episode, but there's still one episode I love even more. So, let's move on. And the number 1 best Thomas episode from season 1 through 4 is Edward's Exploit. I love this episode, and here's why. This is the episode that shows that Edward is strong even at his old age. He's made fun of at the beginning of the episode by the other engines, but when the storm comes through and he starts to lose all hope, he manages to make it through in the end. The music in this episode is triumphant. Edward's theme is incredible. This episode should end every movie. It's just that good. I love this episode to depth. I've said it before. This episode is just so good. It's the episode I think of when I think of great Thomas episodes. It's my favorite episode of all time. And that's really something special. I've always loved it, and I still love it now. Many people like this episode. I think it's just the best. This is without a doubt my favorite episode from Thomas and Friends of all time.
So that's going to be all for this video, guys. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. But that's all for now, guys. This is the Blue OJ Leader, and I'll see you later.